Let's go. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. This is a double awesome day. This is a double awesome day. Hajar is on podium. Hajar is on podium. Did I not say it? This would be awesome. If Hajar gets a podium, I am going to be lit. Hajar. And Pia, that's my dog. Pia, that's my dog. Let's just go ahead and address already out of the gate what we're going to address already out of the gate. People, this was by far more of an eventful race than I myself even anticipated. I think, honestly, this is going to be in contention for one of the most eventful races of the season. There has been a calamity of situations that have occurred from free practice to qualifying and now the actual GP. And the most important thing, right, and I told you, driver of the day, Hajar. Hajar is by far driver of the damn day. I know I'm glad about Piastri getting that race win, but I'm telling you right now, Hajar is my driver of the day. Straight up. He's the driver of the day to me. I'm just keeping it a buck. If you don't think Hajar is the driver of the day, then we got some other things to talk about. Because bro is on podium. And I am actually very excited for Hajar. To me, he has been one of the most solid, if not the most solid rookie all season, period. He's also been the most charismatic and character, and he gives respect all the way down. Sylvia Witt Kelly, congratulations to your rookie. Congratulations to your rookie. Mechanic Mercedes says, congrats to Jay. Landmass Colapinto finished P12. Hey, brother, don't be mad. I was going to wait to the end, but give me my money. Give me my money. It is a triple crown day for Wolfpack. I got Piastri on the win. I got Hajar on podium. And I got my bro, Colapinto, in 11th place. I'm kicked up like this, bro. I'm going to do the whole show like this, bro. It's a triple win day for Jay at Wolfpack. And you know what? I appreciate my brother saying congratulations, bro. I appreciate my brother saying congratulations. Galactus, make sure my brother send that money through, okay? Matter of fact, bro, you could just do it right here in the super chat. You could just do it in the super chat, brother. That's a done in the super chat. But you know what I respect about my brother, man? Me and my sibling brother, Mechanic Mercedes, we keep competitive love and brothership in everything that we do. Y'all might think from the outside, me and Mechanic Mercedes be going at it like hard and we don't care for each other. No, I care for my brother very much. When anytime I got a brother who don't mind going back and forth with me, it's an excellent day. Galactus, Pia, Hajar, congrats. Lando, too bad, so sad, scratch your ass and get glad. Kermisha says, best of the day, well-deserved to Hajar. We got Derwin Hill in the super chat says, this race was probably the most emotional race this year. Facts, brother. This was an awesome race. I'm going to even add this. Matter of fact, hold on. Now, Mechanic Mercedes, you got to stop talking about Colapinto the way you talk about him now. He got 11th place. Jack Doohan ain't do nothing like that. And I know what he going to say, all that. But, hey, Colapinto's in 11th place, not even in 12th. He did me one more extra, bro. He did me one more extra. Give me my props. Hey, he said, who will get? We got Kamisha in the super chat saying, God is good. I prayed for Leclerc to be out once Lewis was Damn. So listen, we got a lot to talk. Y'all better be in the Wolves Den after this. Y'all better be in the Wolves Den at 12 this noon because we got a lot to talk about. This race gave us so much to talk about. It is beyond ridiculous. There ought not be anybody that doesn't have their hand up today in the Wolves Den. All right? Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Lando Norris Lando Norris. Now, first, I got to give more props to Hajar. I got to give more props to Hajar. Hajar this is such a great moment for this young gentleman. Do y'all not recall the first race of the season when there were so many assholes writing him off? They were writing him off. And big shout out to Mary Beanie in the super chat. Get earplugs for Wolves Den. I am effing pissed, she says. She says she's pissed. Big shout out to my bro, Mechanic Mercedes, kicking in on that bet we had. Galactus in the super chat. Yuki and others got points. Epic race, Lewis. And big shout out to my brother, man. Yo, man. Big shout out to you. Much love, bro. Much love. Yo, hey, listen. Listen. Y'all remember at the beginning of the season, there were so many assholes that were being overly critical and overzealous to write Hajar off coming into the season because you want to know why? He had an unfortunate spinoff. He wasn't the only one. It was Lewis Hamilton's dad who went to Hajar and embraced him to let him know to keep your chin up, young fella. Stay positive. Don't give up. Next time, go out and just repeat. And guess what he did? Guess what he's done now? He's got his first podium. First podium. Third place to Max Verstappen in second. This is not the first time the junior varsity team has come up to be around the varsity guy who was proclaimed by so many to be the GOAT. And guess what? And you know what, people? You want to know what? The rats were like this. The rats were waiting. They were like, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to come outside again. We're going to be able to come outside. It seems like everything's lining up for Max Verstappen to get a podium. And you want to know what happened? It didn't happen. He didn't get the race win. I know y'all were waiting to come and flood the chats, flood the threads, come out with all the obnoxious Max Verstappen hate and all this other stuff. Y'all thought y'all were going to be able to come back outside again. Y'all thought y'all saw the sun dipping behind the clouds, and all of a sudden the clouds disappeared and said, no, you shall not pass. No race win for Max Verstappen, but he got second place, and that's what y'all are accustomed to saying now. Y'all are accustomed to saying, hey, Max Verstappen second place is an awesome place to be. That's what y'all have come up with now. But I'm going to let you know right now, that percentage is dipping. And there's only 2 race wins in this season. 2 race wins in the season, and now they're talking about that's great. Nah. We're not going to let y'all get away with that's great, because that's not what y'all promised us. That is not what you promised us. What you promised us was Max Verstappen could drag a tractor. That's what you promised us, but that ain't what's going on. Big shout out to Mechanic Mercedes. Fuck Cola Pinto. All he had to do was lose 2 places. Hey, man. Hey, he better than Jack Doohan right now, man. Better than Jack Doohan. But, yeah, I think driver of the day, hands down, is Hajar. If he's not driver of the day, I don't know who is. I know that they could probably go the next part. Matter of fact, I tell you what, I'm going to let y'all vote on it. Vote on the chat. Who do you like for driver of the day? I'm going to put Hajar up there. I'm going to put Albon up there for what he did coming back from a very far stint. I'm going to put him up there. I'm also going to put Yuki in there, making it into the top 10. And, of course, I'm going to go ahead and put Piastri in there because he won the race. Let me know who y'all got for driver of the day. Racer X, we got a lot to talk about. We ain't even got to Ferrari yet. We haven't even got to Ferrari yet. Big shout out to Nasty Sue says this is Piastri to lose. Now, it is Piastri to lose. And it very well could happen because there are a lot of races before the end of this season, right? And he doesn't quite have the points differential to close this out way early. Not to say that he can't get it, but this is definitely going to put a gap between he and Lando and he and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen got second, so he's not too much further than he would be if he didn't finish the race, but it definitely puts some separation between he and Lando. So P is my dog. P is my dog, so I'm happy for him. RacerX210 in the super chat says, Ferrari pissed me off today. Kimi did a crash strapping. Hajar got a podium with the sisters team, and Lawson hasn't even done that. Congrats, Hajar. Yes, let me tell you something, though, bro. Could we not have a healthy debate that Charles took a page out of Max Verstappen's book too? Could we not say that? Could we not possibly say that Charles took a page out of Max Verstappen's book against Russell? I'm just saying, bro, that was quite aggressive for Charles against Russell. I have it in my notes right here. Charles takes a page out of Max Verstappen. I posted it. Charles took a little page out of Max Verstappen's book too. And then Kimi took a page back out on him. So it's kind of like even swap, no swindle type situation. Nasty Sue said Behrman should be driver of the day. Oliver Behrman is also, you know what, Nasty Stu, I could have put Behrman in there. You are absolutely correct. Haas, 2 cars in the top 10 for Haas while Nasty Stu's talking about it. 2 car in the top 10 for Haas again this season. So, yeah, you're absolutely correct about that for sure. Because Behrman, again, having his opportunity there. Stroll and Alonso, we could get to that later. But I got to ask y'all something. Does Lando Norris not all the time bend over for Max Verstappen at the start of these races? Does Lando Norris, is it in their best friend contract that anytime Max Verstappen is behind Lando, that Lando has to give it up? Is it in their best friend contract? Every time Lando Norris is in front of, I know they thought they was going to pop all that orange smoke for Max Verstappen, but y'all could have kept that shit. Y'all might as well not even popped it, just did the regular fireworks. But it seems like every time Lando Norris is incapable of having a solid and strong race start against Max Verstappen. And I ain't going to lie, Max looked desperate out there on the race start. He looked absolutely desperate out there on the race start. He almost bent it. He almost wrecked the car out. That's what he almost did. He almost wrecked the car. Like straight up. He almost wrecked the car. Damn near could have took another McLaren car out. He's desperate. He's desperate. In Max's mind, he's trying to figure out, why am I not doing all the shit that they said I could do? Why is this not happening? And he's got to be careful. He's not out of the woods on race ban, getting another couple of points. He's not going to be out of the woods on that. Miss Dino in the super chat says, when Merck told Russ to swap, his reaction, I was on the floor. I missed that part. I did miss that part. I did miss that. But that, Russell right now is in a very funny situation. But I will say this. I think Russell, where he still is, 4th place for the Mercedes, I still think Russell has a case to go to Toto and say, what the hell is the holdup, Toto? What is the holdup on my contract? Why is it that I am still not paid and solidified as the number 1 driver on a contractual circumstance here in this team? I want to know, Toto. I want to know why you are not giving me my money. I want to know why you're not going to give me the extension. Not the money, because you're still getting paid. Why you're not giving me this extension? Big shout out to Kamisha in the super chat saying Lando really needs to practice his race. He does. He sucks at the race starts. He absolutely sucks at the race starts. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what? Hajar looks more comfortable in the cool down room than Hulk could ever look. Right now, Hajar has a better career than Hulkenberg. Hajar got a better career than Hulkenberg. And y'all still campaigning for this man to be out of here? Mary Beanie in the super chat says, Jay, I told you Norris will bottle it behind. You did. Mary Beanie, you sure did. You said exactly that Lando would bottle it. We both agreed, and we're both correct, and we got to see it happen. And he indeed did bottle it. He did bottle it. But I got to say this. I know that when all these safety cars come out, because let's just keep it real, safety cars are Max Verstappen's saving grace. Can we all kind of agree on that, if not completely agree on that? Safety cars are Max Verstappen's saving grace. When we had this many VSCs and safety cars, I said, damn, this is going to be an opportunity where Max is going to have a chance to win this GP based on events happening on track and drivers getting dismissed from this race. Then, I ain't gonna lie, I had 80-20-21 vibes. Piastri on hards, Max on softs, last final laps of the race. But then I thought about it. Nah, Piastri's a dog. He's not going to let that happen. Nasty Stu in the super chat. Hajar better not take that Red Bull seat. Bro, 100%. 100%. Don't take the Red Bull seat. Stay away from it. Nasty Stu, you are exactly correct. Correct. He should not take the Red Bull seat. The Racing Bulls are looking formidable. They are. I mean, by way of Hajar, Liam Lawson got called a dumbass or got called a dumbass or stupid. I think Carlos Sainz called him stupid. And listen, can we also talk about this? Can we also talk about what is up with the FIA? What is up with the FIA? You handed Carlos Sainz his penalty. You're sitting here delaying decisions to the end of the race for what? The Charles and Russell situation was a clear situation. You have a driver that's involved in your panel. Why do we have to wait, or why is there such a delay on the race decision or the decision on the situation? This is getting out of hand because you want to know what? You're trying to wait to let extending circumstances that may not have anything to do with what occurred on track to make your decision. And that is utterly wrong. That's completely the wrong way to do it. The decision should be based on the situation right there in hand. How are you making decisions on a situation here and a situation there, but not on this situation? Kamisha in the super chat says, a little reminder, Russell holds up is his overconfidence, right? Thinking he is better than Lewis, and he's not. He's not. And anybody that said that Russell's better than Lewis, you're wrong. Now, I do know this. I know Lewis went out in the race, and I know many of you had to be I know you had to be very upset. I know many of you probably lost your mind. I know many of you probably turned the TV off when Lewis went out. But with Lewis going out of the race, I got to ask you this. Did you stop watching the race when Lewis went out? Did you turn your TV off when Lewis went out of the race? I didn't. I didn't turn my TV off, but I ain't gonna front with you. I was like, hot damn, but it could have happened to anybody. It could have literally happened to anybody. He's not the only person that went out, but it could have happened to anybody, honestly. He hit the white paint. It started drizzling. It got wet, and we all know that paint, when it gets wet, can become a gremlin. And it became a gremlin. And let's just keep it a buck. The Ferrari has not proven to us that in that type of unfortunate, unforeseen situation, that car is stable enough for you to be confident in catching it and coming out of there. The rear end of the Ferrari has been worse than a car that would be a mix of a Ford Mustang and a Porsche. It's so rear end happy and unstable, you're asking yourself to bend it if you're not very, 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 very careful. You just are. And that could have happened to anybody. So for anybody to try to indict Lewis Hamilton on his driving ability, on his skill, on his talent, on him being washed on that situation, you're always looking for something to try to discount Lewis Hamilton. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. But you know what they were going to do? You know what many people were going to do? Had Charles Leclerc finished this race, they were going to come out with all the Lewis hate. They were going to come out with, look at his teammate and look what he did. Look at this, look at that. Ferrari doing it again. But it wasn't necessarily Ferrari's fault. It wasn't necessarily Ferrari's fault. I mean, Charles Leclerc could not change or dictate or drive the Mercedes car for Antonelli to avoid that collision. Antonelli was clearly off the normal racing line. He was going for an overtake. And you want to know why? Because Antonelli is feeling pressure. Galactus in the super chat. Those trophies are huge and nice. Those trophies are actually pretty nice. They look like something that would go in a china cabinet. It looks like dining room decoration. I actually want something a bit better, right? I would like a little bit more metal involved, but it is very, very nice and elegant. Miss Dino in the super chat says, unlucky break for Sir Lewis Hamilton, still rocking with him all day long. 100, Miss Dino, 100. This is no indictment, or this should not change your perspective on Lewis Hamilton if you feel like he's getting ready to come back for the season and have what could be a re-emerging performance. You shouldn't be down on Lewis because of this situation. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. You should not be down on Lewis because of this situation. That's something that was unforeseen. You can't dictate that, and let alone it could have been anybody. And several other situations took place on track where I'm not saying that, you know what, Lewis, this car is completely out. Because to me, honestly, as controversial as we probably would say the qualifying could have looked, I still think that there was some promise in there in regard to how the car, or you know what, how Lewis was seeming to get a little bit more confident to try and push the car. So I would say we need to see the next race, right? This race, from the very beginning of free practice and qualifying, we already knew there were going to be some eventful situations to occur on track. I don't know the numbers for sure, but I'm pretty sure this race would be competitive for the most safety cars, whether it's VSC or full outright safety car this season. Galactus in the super chat says the trophies are hand painted. Oh no, that is cool. Yeah, that is cool. That's one-off custom shit, and I like that. I like one-off custom shit. So yeah, that is cool. Mechanic Mercedes says Lewis is no god. He still yes, thank you, bro. And that's what a lot of people forget, Mechanic. He's still human. And he's been through a hell of a lot. Lewis Hamilton has been through a hell of a lot. He's been through more right now than any driver on the grid, as far as a situation occurring to where you got pretty much ransacked for your 8th world title, to a boatload of unfair criticism, a boatload of unfair racism, a boatload of unfair washed takes, a boatload of anything changing teams and trying to get used to a new team that use a braking system that you already know you didn't do well with. He's going through a lot, and he's still having to try to put it together now that he's with Ferrari. I'm not out on Lewis Hamilton. I'm not. Period. Point blank, period. I'm not out on Lewis Hamilton. Is it the best going on for him right now? No. But hell, it ain't absolutely the worst. It's not the worst. Now, Stroll. Stroll is Stroll. But he did finish in the top 10, and he did finish in front of Alonso. But I think it goes for me just to make a small little point, if I could, that Maria Duncan, Miss Dino, Sylvia with Kelly are absolutely correct when they say Stroll might be trying to find a way to get out of Formula One. He didn't let go of the steering wheel when he wrecked this past weekend. He spun out free practice and in quali, wrecked the car up. Then today, I felt like Stroll was trying to find that debris to get a tire puncture so he could just go back to the trailer early. I don't know how much, and I'm really speaking hyperbole. I'm like making a joke about this, but in some ways, when I'm talking more serious about it, I'm right. And by the way, Chad, I'm going to have a video coming out where I just had to go out and see how many American people actually knew the Formula One team that represents America by name. And I'm going to post that video next week for you all to have a good laugh about that. Mechanic Mercedes in the super chat says, I say he's been through more than all F1 drivers, bro. All, period, all. And I do mean all historically. Miss Dean on the super chat says, yes, he is a human. The chatter would have been negative if Charles had finished. So I was down low happy and he didn't finish. Sorry to say. No, don't be sorry to say about that. That's justified. Just as they would have used it to discount him, you using the situation to compensate to say, hey, ain't no reason for you to be trying to bang Lewis over the head about this situation. Ferrari didn't finish as a team. They didn't finish as a team. And I don't really know where they would have been here, but it wouldn't have been on podium. It wouldn't have been on podium at all. So Alex Albon, and let's also use this for a comp. Let's use this for a comp as well, because it's kind of hard, but we can kind of do it. Where's Gasly? Oh no, that's not the comp I was gonna make. That's okay. Not Gasly. Where's Sainz? Where's Sainz? Sainz is in 13th. Sainz had a situation. I want another clean race because Albon being in 5th, when Williams is supposed to be dialing back on their development, and I do know we could probably, okay, let's say even if we count the 3 drivers that went out in Charles, Lewis, and Lando, let's say we drop Albon 3 places. He's still in 8th. He's still in 8th place. He's still in the top 10. And hey, let me tell y'all something. You want to know what's funny? The live chat is minus a lot of Max Verstappen rats. Why? Because you want to know why? They thought they was going to be able to celebrate a race win at Max's home GP and come out talking crazy. You know, they've been real quiet for the past few weeks. Been real quiet for the past few weeks. Don't be quiet. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. That's all I got to say. Keep the same energy. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I was right when I said last season, the back half of Max's season last season going to be the front half of this season. And that's what you got. You got a 13% win rate right now from Max Verstappen, so-called your GOAT. Not GOAT, not the world's GOAT, but your GOAT. 13% race win percentage. That's not passing by anybody's standards. You got way more off podiums than you got on podiums right there. And it's not over. It's not over. It is not over. There's more to come. And I'm not saying that Max won't win another race this season. He might very well win another race this season. But I am here to say, you got to be careful about how much and how you talk to people out here with that smoke. You got to be careful how you're talking to people out here. You got to be careful what you're buying and what you're selling. You got to be careful. So let's take a look at this. And I'm going to tell you right now, Liam Lawson is going to piss a lot of people off. I think Liam's going to piss a lot of people off. I'm going to post a short later about Liam because he say and more than any driver, I think, on the grid. But when Carlos calls you stupid, Carlos, he can have some flair, but he's not usually the one to call people stupid and an asshole. That's usually Max Verstappen. Carlos was upset, and then Carlos got a 10-second time penalty, I believe. I believe he got a 10-second time penalty. And I don't think that penalty was fair. I honestly don't think that penalty was fair. I think that was a harsh penalty. And I don't know if Charles ended up, because we're going to have to find out if they are going to penalize Charles. And this is what I'm saying. They didn't penalize Charles in the race. They wanted to wait. So now, if they don't penalize him, is it because he found himself outside of the race? Is it because he found himself in a situation where he got a DNF? That shouldn't be the case. Charles did question the pit stop after the crash. Was that a good call for the stop? I got to go back and really look at it. I think it's justified for him to question it, because it's not Ferrari's pit stop times that we're concerned about. It's their pit stop decisions that we're concerned about. Julius in the super chat says, Max fans equals Dallas Cowboy fans annoying. 100%. 100%. I'm with you on that. I really equate Ferrari more to Dallas Cowboys. Like, they were winning and now they're hard to find their way back, trying to get out of it. But let's check and see if they did develop a document on Charles Leclerc with the situation in Russell. Because I told you I find it very interesting for them to wait, and then do they hand down these decisions? Because I feel like these decisions need to be handed down now. So they've been summoned. So right now we got car 5, car 16, we got car 63, and car 44 summoned, okay? Car 55 already had its decision handed down. And so right now, if a document comes out that Charles doesn't get a penalty for the situation with George Russell, I gotta wonder, are you not penalizing him because of the outcome of a situation that didn't have anything to do with George, but has something to do with Antonelli? And this is where these penalties should be handed down, period. They should be handed down, period. Right there when it happens, or moments after, they should be looking in the books to see what all took place prior to this, what kind of situation did happen that was similar to this. How do we go about the decision? How does that now compare to this new situation? And then let's make the call a few laps later. Let's not say we're going to wait till later to talk about this. Now, I'm not saying there won't be situations where that's not understandable to do for a delayed decision, because we really need to talk to these drivers. We need these representatives to come in and really kind of get down to it. We need to pull the telemetry, the video, the data, testimony. I'm not saying there won't be situations where that's not necessary. But what I'm saying is that wasn't one of those situations that was necessary to have to wait until after the race to give Charles or Russell a penalty or find out what you're going to do about that. That wasn't one of those situations. And this is where I get aggravated with the FIA when it comes down to this. I do think that Charles should get a penalty. I think he should have got a penalty for that, just as Kimi Antonelli should get a penalty for his situation. And Kimi's having a rough season, yo. Kimi is having a rough season right now. And I'm going to say that decision that he made to try to do the under on Charles was pressing. Kimi is looking to try to have a good race. He's looking to try to have a good race. He's looking to try to have a finish where he can feel that he's got his confidence back. And this just took more confidence away from him. This didn't help his confidence. Miss Dino in the super chat says Charles did not think he needed to stop, is what I was getting at. Yeah, okay, I get you on that. And I think if that's the case, not going back and watching everything incomplete with just that situation, it is normal now. Because we've sat here, Miss Dino, and listened to Charles and Lewis question Ferrari on why are we stopping right now. I don't think we need to stop. I think I could have extended. And this is what's been an issue with Ferrari. Their calls and strategies about when they box these drivers. We've even gone as far as to say that Lewis Hamilton needs to stay out on track or come into the pits and demand what he wants on his car, because we feel that Ferrari are not doing a good job. They're not on par with race strategy. Right? We got to separate the two. Them having good pit stops as far as timing is not the same as them calling the pit stop to box. It's not the same. And so I will ask you all this. Are you out on Ferrari's strategy? Because I think their strategy is poor. I think Ferrari's strategy is poor. And it's been a consistent thing, even up as much to us talking about Adami not being Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. It's been poor. And let's just keep it a buck. This is not something that's new to even this season. We've questioned this seasons prior to. This is one of the hurdles that is going to have to be cleared if Ferrari is going to get on pace and on track to be a consistent team. Forget even thinking about a competitive championship team right now. Can we work on being the other C word, consistent? Can we work on being complicit? Can we work on being what we need to be week in and week out? Can we work on good development? Can we work on that? If we work on those things and we improve those things, then at the end of the day, our competitive championship drive should improve as well. And it's not happening right now. And this is why I said that this is going to be a very hard season for Ferrari fans, and likely even harder going into the next season of 2026, because it's kind of going to be a rinse and repeat. They're not going to be at the forefront at the very start of 2026. I don't know who is, because when you have this much of a regulation change, it leaves room for teams that we wouldn't have expected to kind of take over in situations, and then things start coming back down to earth and the dust settles, and then we start seeing, okay, the ones who we've known to do a better job at development, a better job at strategy, a better job at giving information to their drivers, a better job at setup, a better job at qualifying, now they're starting to show that they're taking back the front. But it does leave room in for situations to happen. It does. So let's go here. We could talk about Kick Sauber, Hulk leading over Bortoleto. They're still going to be very destitute until Audi comes in. I know they had a very high, pivotal moment with Hulkenberg, but that was something that was a Cinderella type situation. The clock struck 12:01 or 0:01 hours, and that carousel, or that carriage that was once a gleaming glass crystal ball, turned into a pumpkin. The shoes that Hulkenberg were wearing that looked like crystal nice man loafers turned into bomb-ass Converse with holes in the bottom of them. And that's over. And that likely will never happen again. So congratulations to him. But now we're all going to be waiting to see what Audi will do when they come in. And if I could, chat, there's 42 likes on this channel. There's 42 likes on this live. 42 likes. 463 some odd people and 138 people watching right now. Can we not hit the like button just to support the channel? Hit the like button, subscribe. Julius, Lewis talking to a wall does more than a dummy in his team. Ooh, damn, shots fired. I believe that, because at least if Lewis was talking to a wall, what would bounce back and hit his tympanic membrane would make more sense. I'm not mad at you about that. At least thank you, somebody, whoever hit the like button and gave 43 likes. If we get up to 100 likes, that would be cool, because it really should be that. 44 is the Lewis Hamilton number. I'm loving the way that's going. Yeah, I think if Lewis was talking to a wall, he would be talking to, he would be hearing something that would make more sense. For sure. For sure he would. So if we go down here, Lando Norris. Lando was sitting up on that hill. He was sitting up on that hill looking mighty, mighty bad. Matter of fact, I know, listen, I just got to give a big shout out. Right here, we got Mechanic Mercedes at the top of the charts with 5,475 points. Nasty Stu with 5,125, and Miss Dino at 1,400. Those are our top three so far. That's our podium for today's Race Stream Live. That's a podium coming right there. When we get to the end, we'll see who's finalizing on that podium right there. But I just got to say, it looked really sad for Lando up there on that hill. Charles was up there on that hill too. Charles was on that hill. Look at Lando. Look at Lando. Just look at him. Just look at him. He just looked like all is lost. Like, damn. And he's right to sit there like that, because that's a nice point swing right now for the Drivers' Championship battle. And I haven't seen one race where Lando is going to stretch Oscar out, unless a similar situation happens to Oscar that's going to say, I'm going to be able to compensate for that. I haven't seen it. And Oscar is not the type of driver to make a bunch of unneeded mistakes. Did y'all watch how Oscar, when he came down the straight and Lando was within DRS range, did you see what Oscar did? Nothing. He did nothing. 083 in the super chat says, what's up, Wolfpack family? What's up, 083? Y'all make sure y'all in the Wolves Den. We're about to be in the Wolves Den in about 40 minutes or so. 12 noon, we're going to be in the Wolves Den. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this race. Kamisha says, I believe Lewis needs to bring his own team. Facts. We talked about that, Kamisha. Remember, we said Bono, we got Angela back. Lewis needs his own team around him. Unfortunately, he's not going to get that team because Mercedes are going to do what they can do to try to keep their key personnel that have been there and trying to aid and lead them to championships before. And Ferrari is kind of reluctant to bring in people that are not Ferrari or Italian, or it's kind of one of those things that they're dealing with. So, but you're right. To get Lewis's team around him very well could be and how crazy would it be if we go into the offseason, right? And we hear that Bono's got a new contract with Ferrari for Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. But I will say this. It's a double-edged sword with that. You're asking for a situation that could be awesome for Lewis, and you're also asking for a situation that could be very, very pressure cooker for Lewis. Because one could debate that if Lewis gets Bono, Lewis got Angela, Lewis gets whoever else he needs around him, and the team comes in, and then the performance is still not there, well, shit, you asked for all this, we gave you all this, and you're still not doing more than you would have done if we just gave you what we were going to give you in the first place. I think there is some healthy suggestion that if it's not a Adami, maybe it's somebody else, but it doesn't necessarily need to be Bono, right? Doesn't necessarily, because nobody's to say that if Bono came over there, that he would feel or thrive in the Ferrari environment, because he's going to have to battle some things too with Ferrari. So he's not going to be able to just to fully concentrate on doing whatever is going to be solid for Lewis. He's going to have to deal with things for Ferrari too, just like Lewis Hamilton is dealing with things with Ferrari. And it's rough. It's tough. It's a hard situation. It's a hard situation. So, yeah. So next up, good people, Alpine is going to need to make the most of becoming a customer team. And that's all I got to say about Alpine. Oh, no, I got another thing to say about Alpine. Flavio probably needs to go. I don't think they did themselves any favors with bringing Flavio Brigatore back. I really don't. I think that it was a knee-jerk move. You wanted some flash. You got somebody who you felt was a shrewd operator and businessman, and he's a cheat. He was banned from Formula One for a reason, and you let him back in, and you let also the toxicity back into your team. That's what you did. And I hope it pans out for you, because I would like to see Alpine be competitive. You know, Patrick Mahomes, partial owner, Kelsey, Ryan Reynolds, Michael B. Jordan. I would like to see them be able to celebrate, hey, we turned this team around. I think they might have bit off more than they can chew. You know, it's not Cricket Wireless. It's not Mint Wireless. It's not the soccer football club. This is a Formula One team that has had a lot of problems. This is a Formula One team that made an extremely bad decision in driver pairing with Ocon and Gasly. This is a Formula One team that had Rossi publicly criticizing his own team to the point where it was a little bit obnoxious. This is a Formula One team that had Otmar and used him as a scapegoat, not saying that he made some of the best decisions. There's a lot to have to change at Alpine. And them becoming a customer team is, to me, one of the best decisions they've made in the past few seasons. Their power units have been ass for a long time, and I one time called them smoke bombs. So, yeah. Miss Dino in the Super Chat says, the car needs to be on par where Lewis Hamilton is confident it will perform. You're 100% right, Miss Dino. You're 100% right, and that's one of the big issues. The car is not stable. It's flawed. And they don't even fully understand how to fix it. This late in the season, we should already see a correction. Ferrari don't understand how to fix this car yet. They don't understand this 90% car that they changed. They don't understand how to fix it. Charles is also battling with it. He's just battling a little bit better with it because he's been in this car for so long. There are some characteristics that he's accustomed to. Lewis is having a hell of a time because none of this he's accustomed to. All right. And along with dealing with the braking system that he didn't like to begin with Mercedes when they were going through all of that. So, yeah, it's a tall order. But I do feel for Antonelli. I really hope, I've been saying this for Antonelli, I really hope he can have a good race weekend because his confidence is being destroyed. Antonelli's confidence is being destroyed. And it's at the large part of Toto Wolff. And this is what happens when you have a relationship where two people separate and it's not the best separation, and one person wants to find another date to make the other person jealous. Antonelli is the result of Toto Wolff trying to find another date to make Lewis Hamilton jealous. Trying to find another date, which he didn't get with Max Verstappen way back in the day at the youngest driver in Formula One at that point in time. And Antonelli is consequently suffering from that. And he's had some rough times that he's taken complete ownership about. He's had some very challenging and rough times that he couldn't control that had to do with the car. And right now, his confidence is being destroyed. He needs, and he's young. He's young. He's a teenager. He's a teenager. His emotions, his body hormonally, chemically, is so whacked right now because he's in that stage of a young man on the verge of becoming a man. He still got several years before that, but 18 years old, can you imagine what you were doing at 18? By 18, I had my third car. Third or fourth car. I was running around, doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing, making decisions I damn sure shouldn't have been making. Thank God, and to my grandmother, I'm still here and not in prison. Thank God I at least did what I needed to do and didn't end up with certain situations like Eazy and Magic Johnson. I'm just saying, he's 18. He's in a sport that is high pressure. He's handling multi-million-dollar equipment. He's sitting in business meetings. He's sitting in Formula One meetings about strategy and development. He's having to do homework. He's probably hearing a lot from his peers at his age that don't have shit to do with something that's this important. And now on TV, in a social media age where kids are on social media all the time and willing to make memes about you, he's not doing well. And this situation, don't forget he was just crying not weeks ago. Now he wrecks out a Ferrari. Somebody needs, he really, and I'm not saying his parents are not doing this, but he really needs to make sure that he's embraced right now. He needs to be embraced. He needs to be insulated, and not to the point where you got to understand what you're doing, and you got to understand you're going to have to take the noise that comes with the drama that you bring. You got to be able to handle that. You're 18, you're a young man, you're still a kid, you're still a teenager, but you're a young man, and you're going to have to understand how to handle high-pressure situations. But still, at his age, they need to make sure they keep his mind right. Because I don't want Antonelli's mental to end up being an indictment on him about him not being a good driver, because I don't think he's a bad driver. But he's spiraling right now. And this is not going to help. Miss Dino, on broadcast, they were saying his dad to hands-on, how true, not sure. Ooh. I think that is plausible. Could be true. It could be true. And that's why I said, to some degree, you got to make sure that he understands the consequences, and he has to get emboldened, right? He has to get forged in the fire. But there's a way to allow him to get forged in the fire and to also make sure mentally and emotionally you support and insulate him, right? And he's going to need that. And I don't know what Toto's doing. I don't know what he's saying. But I hope it's supporting him. Because this could get worse before the end of the season. Right now, let's just keep it a buck. I had said that I thought Hajar and Bortoleto were going to be the two better rookies in the season. They did better in the lower series, and Berman is doing better than I thought he would do. And Antonelli in a better car is doing worse than what most thought he would do. Bortoleto has a complete reason. It's not even an excuse. It's a reason why he's where he's at. He's with Kick Sauber. They ain't shit. Just keeping it a buck. They ain't shit. Liam Lawson is where I thought he would be because I thought he was who he was. He wasn't much. But Berriman and Hajar is kind of like that situation where you say kids that made C's and B's and every now and a D and had to get it up, do better in college than kids that were in middle school and high school just getting straight A's. Then they get to college and they like, oh shit, I got to do all this. Nobody's telling me. Nobody's reminding me. Oh, it's like they got to handle a little bit different. I'm telling you, it's a true thing. Julius in the super chat says, Kimi trying to fill Lewis' shoes on track, which I feel is adding too much pressure instead of driving his own race. And maybe that might be. Maybe that might be. And I would hope that somebody would tell Kimi that's not your place, because I thought Kimi had expounded on that one time before. It's not your place to try and fill Lewis Hamilton's shoes. Lewis leaving this team and you coming into Mercedes is not the ideal of you filling Lewis Hamilton's shoes. It is the ideal that you have your fresh start in Formula One as a Mercedes driver. Do what you can do with it. Don't try to live up to the GOAT. That we can go down this grid and look at about 19 other drivers that will never live up to what Lewis Hamilton has accomplished in Formula One, including Max Verstappen. There are 19 other drivers actively in one or two seats of these teams that will never live up to what Lewis Hamilton has accomplished. Max Verstappen is also included in that, never. He might live up to what Sebastian Vettel did. He might live up to a little bit more than that, but it is not sold and told, at least to us that are bold and understand, he will live up to do what Lewis Hamilton has accomplished. Kimi, don't do it to yourself. Kimi, you already by some standards and by some metrics have a better career than other drivers that have been driving for 10 seasons or more in Formula One. You got to calm down. You got to calm down. You gotta be yourself. You gotta stay in your lane. Miss Dina, right there. Exactly. You gotta stay in your lane, bro. And staying in your lane doesn't mean staying out of the way. Staying in your lane means be the best that you can be at that point in time with whatever you have available to you. And then so on. And then so on. And then so on. And you will build up on that to become the best version of yourself. You will be the best version of yourself. And if the best version of yourself is one day the best or one of the greatest drivers in Formula One, then that's who you will be. But right now, don't focus on the other stuff. Don't focus on the other stuff. Big shout out to everybody pulling up. We got about 26 minutes. We're going to be in the Wolves Den. You already know where it is. I want to see all of you in here. Everybody that has a badge. Julius Taylor, you ought to be in the Wolves Den. Miss Dino, you ought to be in the Wolves Den. Darth, you ought to be. Sylvia Wickelly, I know you will be. Who else? Paul, I know Paul will probably be. Who else? 083, you better be in the Wolves Den. Who else we got in here? Who else we got in here that need to be in the Wolves Den? Racer X210, you damn sure better be in the Wolves Den. Mary Beanie, I know you going to be in the Wolves Den. Kermisha, you better be in the Wolves Den. Mechanic Mercedes, I want to see you there, my bro. He usually listen. Mechanic, I want to see you in the Wolves Den. Who else we got in here? Duchess Holland, I want to see you in the Wolves Den. I want everybody in the Wolves Den because there's no reason you shouldn't be in the Wolves Den today. Not today with everything that just happened. Hey. Peace and love to everybody. Peace and love to everybody. I'm about to go ahead and get set. Got some things I got to take care of before we get in there. But today was absolutely awesome, and it is what it is. And I'm hoping that we are going to see more good racing coming up for the rest of the season, all right? I will see y'all in the Wolves Den. Peace and love. Stay happy, be safe, and stay healthy. All right, we're out. See you on the next one.